G'day viewers, thanks for coming back for another video. Today we're going to be removing silver from x-rays. In my last video you would have seen the big stack that I had on here. Well, they've all been chopped into pieces that can fit in the beaker, and there's lots. There was well over 100 x-rays, so let's get into it. Okay, so some of these are actually CT scans, and it does make a difference. You still get silver off them, but I'll show you when I find a CT scan. This is really simple. I've got used bleach from my last video, and it was up to about here, and I topped it up with some fresh bleach, but there was still plenty of strength left in the bleach. And you'll see, even though this has got most of it missing already, I'll try and find a better one. Alright, so there's a lot on here. This might be a CT scan. So what will happen with an x-ray, all the black will go. It'll just be clear blue plastic. If it's a CT scan, the image will stay there, but you'll still see silver coming off. So I'll put this in, and usually you'll start seeing the silver come off. See, it's all starting to come off that quickly. This is real time, and I think this one's going to be a CT scan. You see it all starting to build up at the base of the image, but it looks like the image is still on the film. No, this is an x-ray. You can't tell until you lift it out. See how it's gone clear already? See that? It's that quick. So I'm not going to go turning it around yet because I need to put gloves on it. While I'm touching it up here, it's safe. But I'm going to put gloves on for this procedure because even though it's only bleach and it's not considered nasty, some people may react to it, and it's a good rule of thumb to have gloves on with any chemicals you're using. So I'm going to glove up. Please guys, when you're doing things like this, be safe, keep your gloves on, and I'll put mine on now. I'm all gloved up, so now it's as easy as just giving it a bit of a rinse in some water. Let it drain, and then turn it over and put this half in. Now, I have not known anybody who has reacted to bleach, but there are people out there with sensitive skin, and it really is so much simpler just to put some gloves on and avoid any risk. But this is a good thing for someone to do if they want to refine precious metals and don't want to deal with nasty chemicals, because you don't need to these aren't nasty. Or even if someone wants to get into it but hasn't yet learnt what to do, this is a good way to start. You can see this is real time how quick it's coming off. Just leave it in there for a second or two longer, just give it a bit of movement. That'll do me. It's that quick, guys. This is much better than doing CDs. CDs took forever, whereas this is nice and fast. Just let it drain. And in the bin. That's right, I'm in the bin. So you can do in this beaker 2 or 3 at a time, although I don't like to have them touching each other. You don't need to use a standing up beaker. You can use a flat dish. You can just lay them in the dish and then pull them back out, however you want to do it. You could use glass, you can use stainless steel, you can use plastic. I wouldn't put them in normal steel or anything, just stainless if you're going to use steel, like a pot, a stainless steel pot. Anything you got that will do, that bleach won't react to. And this one here should be almost done. Every so often you get just a little bit of stubborn blackness that stays on there, but I've got so many I'm not going to fuss too much with little bits of stubborn. Put it in the water, give it a rinse, and there you go, a nice see-through piece of laminate. And this one here should be ready to turn. If you wanted to leave it in longer and try and get every last bit, you can, but I'm happy with that. Give it a bit of a rinse. Get this last bit off here. Turn it over. Sorry about my hand in the way of the camera. If I had two hands, this would be much easier. So this is going to go very, very fast. And when you're doing the CT scans, because the image doesn't disappear, the easiest way to know when you're ready to change it is when you don't see any more silver appearing at the base of it. Once it starts getting a lot of froth on top like there is now, it makes it a little bit hard, but you'll get to see after one or two how it goes. I'm trying to see if I can find a CT scan to show you what I'm talking about. I'll just finish this one off. That could be down the middle of my pile, so when I find one, I'll show you. No trickery here, no false camera work, no editing, just this is how it is. So that remaining black is fine for me, I'm not too bothered with that. And like I said, you can leave it in longer if you choose. But that's, I've got so many, it's not funny, so really I don't need to worry about just that little bit. I'll do another one. This is all real time, no cutting the camera, no nothing like that. Helps to just keep a little bit of movement going. See, it's coming off. There's no fumes, it's only bleach. I mean, if you don't like the smell of bleach, then that's up to you, but this is just household bleach. No need for a respirator. The drain. You will find over time that the level of bleach will reduce, because some of it stays on the x-ray when you carry it over to the water, so you may need to top it up after you've done quite a few. Now, I love the way these are nice and fast. You can get through a lot of them in a short period of time. I hated doing CDs. It took 2 or 3 days to get through all the CDs. These x-rays will probably take me a couple of hours. All done, see? Just let it drain. And there you go, a nice, clean piece of laminate. If you're an arty sort of person, you could use this laminate maybe for making stencils or something. Must be able to find some sort of second use for it, but I'm just going to throw mine away. And there we go, it's that fast. So I'll carry on with this, and when I come across a CT scan, I'll show you. Two of this stuck together. Okay, so I'll come back when I find a CT scan or when there's more to show you. So far I've only done probably 6 or 8, and you can already see how much silver is collected in the solution, in the bleach. So it'll go very dark over a period of time and getting more and more done. But it's going to have a lot of strength in it for a long time. So I went through hundreds of CDs and it's still good. So it's a fairly cheap way to do this. I'll keep carrying on until I get a lot of these done. It can be hard to rinse off when there's so much on there. But just persevere with it, just keep dunking it like that, and eventually it comes mostly off. I took my glove off for a second. I'll put it back on in a minute. I just had to do something quickly, so I'm just holding the very tip of it, as you can see. Now, when the water starts getting a lot of silver in it, it can be hard to rinse off. Don't be tempted to throw the water out because it's got silver in it now. If you chose, you could have a second rinse container, so go from this one to another one. I'm not going to bother with that. I think this is fairly clean, but you might think that I've had some where there's bubbles all over it. No matter how many times I dunk it, it's hard to get off. It's not stuck to it, it's just because there's so much silver in the water already. You might like to have a second rinse container, but this is fine for me. So I put my gloves back on and carry on. You might choose to just do one at a time. It probably would be a lot easier. It's only because I've got so many, I want to try and get through them as quick as I can. I don't want it to take all day. See how, try and get the bubbles off, and they seem to hang around, but perseverance comes off quite easily. That might go back in for a little bit longer still, there's still some black on there. Let's see how this one goes. That looks better. I'm going to try and keep as much bleach in the bleach bucket as I can. Not that it matters, they both get treated, but water is not going to rinse it very well if there's a lot of silver in there, so you want to try and reduce how much silver comes across. See how it stays on there? So I'm just trying to dunk it up and down. This is what I was referring to before. But just persevere with it. See, now it's clean. So that drain. And turn it over. Straight away you can see the silver starting to form. You'll know when the bleach is no longer any good because it will stop pulling the silver off the x-rays. There will inevitably be some parts that stay on. So this here might not get any lighter. It looks better already than what it was. I found going up and down is the best way to get the bubbles off. Trying to swish it side to side doesn't seem to do as much. Some of them, it's about as good as you'll get. You can still see the dark shade, but I have tried leaving them longer, and some of them just don't seem to get any better. I went to turn it over and dipped it back in there by accident. Now I'm going to try and get it clean again. There we go. It's hard when you got one hand. Okay, so what's this one like now? See that part there? That might not come off. I'll leave it in a bit longer, but there are some of them will always have something that stays on there. I think that's going to be a good example. I think it's going to stay there. I'll leave it in there for a bit longer and see. Okay, I've located some CT scans and I'll be able to show you what I'm talking about. If I had clear solution, like if I'd started with one of these, you would have seen all the silver pouring off it, but because it's like dirty you can't really see. However, I've been sitting in here for 5 minutes and this image is still there. Alright, that's what happens with CT scans all the time, so don't worry, you're not doing anything wrong. The silver is coming off. I don't understand how they make this and why it's different to an X-ray, but this is what will happen. The image will stay there, but there is a silver coating on the edge that comes off. So I'll rinse this one off. And turn it over. Same with this one. Makes it a little bit hard to see if you've actually got all the silver off when you rinse it because of the image, but just do what you can do. And you'll see this one here still got the image. See? Just try and get all the bubbles off. The only way I think that you could recover whatever is causing the image, whatever makes the image, it could be some sort of way of impregnating silver into the plastic, I don't know. But I think the only way to remove any more, if that was still silver in there, would be to burn these to ash. That could be something that you could do if you're interested. If you want to try and see what's in that, you could try pyrolyzing them and see if you get anything out of it. But considering silver is only worth about 60 or 70 cents a gram, I'm not going to go to too much fuss. See how it can be hard to get the bubbles off after a while, but just persevere with it, you'll get it. So that's the best you can do with a CT scan in this procedure. Alright, I'll carry on. That rinse water is so full of silver now, I'm finding it very, very hard to rinse and clean. So I've opted for a second rinse water. I wasn't going to worry, but there's just so much silver in these. And I've got a stack to do yet. I've still got so many x-rays to do, like still hundreds. So I'll show you what I'm talking about when I'm trying to get it clean. I put it in here and it just keeps coming up with silver on it. The bubbles over it. I don't know how well you can see, but I just can't seem to get it clean. See down there? So now, the second one, look at that, crystal clear. Same with this one. I'm trying to get as much of the bleach and silver off in the bleach container that I can. And you can see it's getting really hard because it's so dirty. I mean, look at the colour of it. And then when I try and rinse it, I just can't get the bubbles off. I'm getting a lot of it off, but not all of it. So put it in here and voila, clean. So what might happen in time, since I've got so many to go through, I can see that looking like that in no time. I may need to pour that into a bottle and store it away until I'm finished, and then fill this up with clean water again. I think I'm going to end up doing that a few times, probably with both of these. So I've got the empty bleach bottles that the bleach came out of, so I'll probably end up pouring this back into the bleach bottle and filling it up with fresh water. So I just want to point out something. With the CT scans, what comes off is blue. I don't know if you can see it. See the blue there where the bubbles are? See, it's got a blue tinge to it. So I can't be 100% certain that it's actually silver. I'm doing them anyway, because what if it is? If it's not, if it's only some sort of ink, it's not going to affect the silver. So I just wanted to point that out there in case someone out there knows what it is and then has a go at me for saying it's silver and it's not. My view is, why not just do them in case? So I just want to point that out to you. Is rinsing it off. You see my new rinse water starting to get quite cloudy. So, and they're also a little slimier than normal x-rays. So whatever it is, I don't know, but I'll carry on with them anyway. I'd rather do it in case it's silver. Okay, so there is so much silver in there that it's just not rinsing anymore. And now this one's getting to the point where it's hard to rinse. So what I'm going to do is put this aside, put another beaker of water here, but this one will go here as the first rinse, and the nice clean water will be the final rinse. So I'll do that now. Okay, that's been changed over. And away we go again. See, there's so much silver on there, I just can't get it to come off in here, so I rely on the wash. And then when I go to here, it still leaves a lot of bubbles on there. So that's why I needed clean water, or I'll be losing silver. Now, clean water. Beautiful and clean with that. Perfect. So as you can see, it's really foamed up. There's quite a big chunk of foam on there. And what's happening is that's coming out on every x-ray. And then when I put them in here, it's transferring a lot of it into there, then transfers a lot into there. So I'm making life a lot harder for myself by leaving it like that. Plus it's at risk of overflowing. So I'm going to get a spoon and a small beaker, and I'm just going to spoon off a lot of that foam and try and get back to just where the bleach is. It should make life easier for me. I may soon, if this keeps up, need to filter that bleach, because I don't have a whole lot left. I've got a half a bottle, and if I filter this, I'll be able to then use the filtered bleach. It's still got plenty of strength left in it, but we'll see. I'll just spoon off the foam first and see how that goes. Well, that's better. I got it down a fair way. My little beaker's almost full, so that will slowly sink as the bubbles pop, and then I'll be able to put some more on there. There's not a lot there now compared to what was there. And while I was at it, I took a little bit off my rinse water as well, because then that's not going to transfer there as much. So I'll just keep an eye on that as it sinks down. I'll be able to top it up. Little things like this that just make life easier. I've had to get another container to put the bubbles in because this is still full. You got to remember that bleach is an oxidizer, and when you mix oxidizers with metal, you get a reaction. In this case, it's bubbles, foam. So I've got to keep scooping it off there, and it's making it nice and clean when it goes into there, which is really good. And I've got to keep getting the bubbles off there so they don't transfer into there. So at the moment it's level with the top of the bleach. If I try and scoop any more out, I end up just picking up bleach. So a little bit's okay, just not as foamy as what it was. So it's you can try and skim the surface, but whatever happens, you end up putting the bleach out. So it's easier just to leave it like that. If you're doing this, you will need to have a container like this to put bleach bubbles in. And you can see by this one, it's starting to liquidize again. It's starting to all drop down. which I will then return to here. Well, the bleach is slowly losing its power. I'm having to leave it in there longer and longer each time. But that's pretty good considering it's done hundreds of CDs, and I'm about halfway through the x-rays, so it's done at least 50 x-rays, because there's roughly 100 all up. And I bought the cheapest bleach I could find. If I had used a concentrate like White King or some other concentrated one, it would have worked a lot faster. So if you're doing this, it pays to buy the stronger bleach. Otherwise you end up buying twice as much to do the job. Like I said before, I've only got another half a bottle left, so when this just doesn't work anymore, all I can do is top it up with the last of the bleach and hope it's enough to get through. So the bleach just isn't working anymore. It's just not coming off. So I've had to, you see little bits of it coming off on the surface there, but it's not like it should be. I've had to start filtering some of this solution to make room for some new bleach. But I only put 2 cotton balls in the filter, in the funnel. And as you can see, silver's making it through. You'd be surprised what 1 extra cotton ball can do. So once this is finished, I'm going to have to upend it and stick another cotton ball in the end there and refilter this water, because that should be clear. So just got to wait now. I've got these soaking in there and nothing's happening, just the tiniest little bit coming off. To make as much room as I could, I've filled that filter up, and that jug with liquid from in here. It was almost empty, and I've just poured in probably just over 1 litre of new bleach, maybe 1.5 litres. I may end up topping this back up again with that solution here so that it's deep enough. I don't know yet, we'll wait and see. But now it should be working nice and fast. Yep, see, it's all starting to pour off again. So it's working perfectly now. And it was not transparently clear, but sort of like a slight yellowish colour bleach. And as you can see, this is white. It's chock-a-block full of bleach. So it's coming through here now a lot clearer than what it was. Still a little opaque. There's a lot of fine bleach, silver getting through. I put 4 cotton buds in this one and jammed them in tight, and it's still making its way through, so I don't know if there's much I can do about that. Maybe once it's been filtering for a while and it's choked up full of silver, maybe I could pass that through again. This one's starting to come clear, but still a little bit opaque. I put an extra cotton bud in the bottom. There's nothing much more I can do other than to wait for them to choke up a bit and then pour it back through again. And it's going through filter paper as well, so it shows how fine the silver is. But yeah, this is coming off really good now. Before they were in there for 20 minutes, half an hour, and now as soon as I put it in there, it starts working again. That's how it should be. And I'm trying to keep this last one as clear a foam as I can, and look how nice it comes out. There's a little bit of silver at the back of this, so I'll turn it over, get every bit I can. See, it's coming out without bubbles, which is good because then it's not going to carry across. Okay, so I've got a bit of a filtering factory going on here. So what I do is I first pour the solution into that filter, then this liquid goes into that one, that liquid goes into that one, and then any sediment, once I get down to the sediment, like in the bottom of this one here, you can see the sediment that goes into this one. It's got quite a bit of sediment in there. So by the time it goes through all these here, there's a good chance it's coming out as clear as I can get. It won't ever be purely clear, but any silver I'm pretty sure I would have caught. They've each got 4 cotton buds, cotton balls inside them. And this one's got 3 plus a filter paper. So it's just a matter now of filtering all this. And then once I've done that, I'll be able to melt the silver. I've already got 2 filters there that have been dried out, finished. There's a filter there with a pile of plugs in it. That one's just draining, and then it can go in here with the rest of them. And what I've been doing is the solution that runs through the filter has been poured into a clear bottle and allowed to settle. And you can see underneath there's a pile of sediment. So now that can be poured into a filter as well, and I'll keep doing that with all these solutions that pass through the funnels. Will then go into a bottle. I've got one here which I've been filling up, and I'm waiting for that to settle. There's nothing yet, but this other one, this bottle has been sitting for 4 days now, so this one will do the same thing. I'll fill it up and allow it to settle, and I'll keep doing that. These 3 funnels now have only got plugs in them. They don't have any paper, and I'll wait until I get sediment, like from this bottle here. The solution will be poured into my stock pot. Now it's clear. The sediment will be poured into a filter. So it's taking a few days, but I'm getting there. Okay, so I've tipped out all the solution and the sediment into this filter, and it runs straight through, so that this is the one I had it in. I've put some plugs in the bottom, and you can see where it's been caught. It's gone purple because silver is light sensitive, and when it gets exposed to light it goes purple. So now I'm pouring it back through the filter, and it's being caught by that plug, and the residue will be allowed to sit in the filter, which is what I want, and that plug will eventually go and sit in here as well, because the plugs also contain silver particles that have been trapped in the plug. And once I've run all that through that and it's dried out, that filter will go in here with these ones, and I'll just keep cycling like that. I keep doing the same thing. This funnel now can have a plug put in it. Once I've finished with that sediment, that can go in there, and I'll start another one. This has to be poured into it, and then that one, that's the last of it, apart from what's in here, which will settle over a few days. And all this here and here will end up going through the filters and be caught, and I'll put in this bottle, and that'll also be allowed to sit. So it's a long process, but it's not a difficult process. And you know, for silver, some people like silver, this is what you got to do. Other people may have a lot simpler way of doing it. If you have, let me know. I'm always willing to learn, but this is how I'm doing it so far. It's working. I would like to find a faster way. So by all means, if you know a faster way, let me know. So as you can see, the solution has all drained through, and it's left all the purple silver behind, and the solution's come out fairly clear. That will still get stored in case anything settles later, but that's pretty good. this one here is draining very fast, so I'll start doing this one here so I can get down to that sediment. Look at all that silver down there. Well, I've gotten through nearly all the solution. There's the last little bit going through here, and then I'm going to put a paper in there to help catch the sediment. That's all the sediment there. It's all thick sludge. It's a nice layer of sediment. Some of it has already been poured into this filter, and it's taking its time dripping through. I won't put any more in because that's taken so long just to get that last little bit through. So I'll put the rest of this into here. I've got quite a few filters already. There's 3 there, and this one's got a lot of plugs in it. And so once all this is done, ready for melting. Well, I finally finished. It took about a week and a half, but I finally got a whole pile of silver in filters and plugs. So it's time to melt them all. Okay, so I'm melting the silver from the X-rays. Before anyone tells me I've got the wrong flame, I only got this kit yesterday, and if you look at these dials here, they're really tight, like they're over tight. I need to go to the shop and have it looked at, because the slightest movement is either too much gas or not enough. So I've managed to get it where it's burning. I know it's not the right flame, so I'm just going to melt all this down, and I'm melting it into shots so I can put it in my silver cell. So I'll come back when I've finished melting it all and show you what I've got. Alrighty, time to weigh in. So the silver from the X-rays, I tried to make it all in a shot, and some of it ended up pretty big, but that should still be okay. Some of them are nice and small. I heard that silver can vaporize. I'm fairly new at silver, so I don't know if this is a good haul or whether some of it vaporized. Here we go, this is what I got. One tiny little bit left. 12.3 grams. I guess that's pretty good. Tell me what you think, guys. Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please like and subscribe. Oh, by the way, I've had a lot of subscribers recently, and I really want to thank you guys. I'm so close to getting 1,000 subscribers, and when I do, I'm going to give away some gold. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please share this with other people so they can enjoy it. See you on the next one.